Welcome to day 24 of our January Challenge 2020, and we are going to start looking over the next 7 days at Pachelbel's Canon, and we are very excited to announce our plan for this piece. So there's a reason we've been asking you all to buy the book. We have a plan in this year 2020 to create a video of us performing Pachelbel's Canon using Sylvia Woods' arrangement. But then what we're also doing is we're inviting you to send in recordings of yourself playing excerpts. It doesn't have to be the whole thing by any means, but excerpts from Pachelbel's Canon. And we've chosen this piece because it has that lovely canon nature. So every 4 bars we move through 8 different chords, and then those 8 chords are looped again. So every 4 bars from any part would actually fit relatively well with any 4 bars from anywhere else. There will be things to be aware of. For example, we need to have a fixed tempo and you need to be able to work to that tempo, which is why it's likely, or most likely, that you might send an excerpt in rather than you playing through the whole piece. There's no rush for this. This next 7 days is just about introducing you to bits from Pachelbel's Canon and ways to think around it and ways to maybe approach it and work on it depending on your own personal level of confidence and engagement with it. Okay, but we have this dream of effectively creating a global video where we get to bring in all of your different excerpts over the top of our live recording of it to produce this amazing experience. It's going to be very special. So let's crack on, shall we? So here we are on day 24 of our January challenge, and we are looking at Pachelbel's Canon. If you're following this set of videos, it's because you feel quite confident as a player, so you're ready to tackle longer chunks. So I've opened it up to the advanced harp solo, although you could just as easily follow from what's described as the easy harp solo. Okay, either is fine. It starts, we've got this pattern of 8 notes, and if we just quickly work those through, the left hand is playing D down to A, and that's a gap of a 4th. D down to the A. We then move our thumb 1 higher than the lowest note. They then move that note down a 4th lower again. Okay, we move the thumb 1 higher than that. The next note's going to be a 4th lower, although we're going to do that with finger 3, because then we're going to walk back up through that G to the A with 2 and 1. Okay, if we're playing down here on the metal strings, then we want to be lower than our mid-range of the string to be a bit cleaner in the sound. So if we just do the left hand first of all, 3 and 4 and 2 and. Perhaps the trickiest part there is getting back onto the G and then the A, having not long played it in the 3rd bar, going down to the D. So we need to be very firm when we reapply our fingers down there. Now that is the bass line that the whole piece is structured on. In the original string quartet arrangement, that's the cello line pretty much through the whole piece. It's quite often a joke amongst string players about that particular cello line. So in our arrangement, we're answering it with what would be played by the other violins and the viola on F, A, D. It then moves, the outer notes move down 1. The structure really is, if I just do them as chords, outer notes move down 1, finger 2 staying where it was. Outer notes move down 1 and finger 2 goes down to make the original shape. Outer notes move down 1. Outer notes move down again, finger 2 goes to make the original shape. Here, outer notes move down 1 again with a D in the middle. Then a slightly funny one, D, E, B, it's a bit of a leap. And then back up to E, A, C. but instead of playing them as chords, we're going to arpeggiate them. So if I put that over my left hand, you can join in, keeping it nice and low below that midpoint for clean sound. 3 and 4 and. Well done, and we're just aiming to keep that really clean. Then going into the next line, if we just look at the left hand first of all, it is now going to play everything that you've just done between the hands, all in the left. So now we're using 4 fingers, and finger 4 each time is playing that bass note, and the others are answering it. So if we just do the left hand and see if we can work that out where we're heading next. So now it's a bit of leaps, interesting shapes to create. Okay, let's give it a go. 3 and 4 and. So we need to bring out that 4th finger to let that ring out as the bass line happening underneath. Again, with so much on the metal strings there, we want to keep it as clean sounding as possible. So really being very precise in the reapplication of fingers. The top hand there, you notice we've got repeat marks here. It's written in thirds, the D and the F going down to the C and the E and so on. In the original version, what we hear first is just the top line, F, E, D, C, and so on. And then on the repeat, the next violin starts on that top line, and the original violin moves to the D, C, B, A. So then we happen in the thirds. So actually, what would be really nice on the first playthrough is to just have the simple notes. Now you could either just play maybe with finger 2, moving down so you get really beautiful quality notes, or if you want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, you could do. The other thing you could do is you could place it as an octave, and you could actually play and do it like that, walking through, if you wanted to. It actually fills out the sound a bit more, which is quite nice on that first time. And then on the repeat, play both fingers back into the thirds as written. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play now the second line of music, playing the octave F, then moving to thirds. If you wish, you can just play the single line F, E, so on, and then move to thirds, with my left hand involved as well, and you join in with as much as you want of this, and then you can go away and work on it. Here we go. Going to count in 3 and 4 and. Then into thirds. And on that repeat there, because I noticed I was a bit buzzy on the first time through, on the repeat there, when I was reaching down with my 4, I kind of allowed the back of my fingers 2 and 3 to lean in on some of the strings to sort of do a preemptive damp before going on to placing into them. So that's something you can try. And then the final thing I wanted to do with you guys today was to leap forward and just look at the last 8 bars of the piece. And again, you could look at the advanced harp version, or you could look at what's classed as the easy harp version. Okay, either of these will fit together. I'm going to teach from the advanced harp version. So The left hand is now straightforward chords. We've been going D, A, B, F. We're now filling those out by doing an octave and a fifth. If you've been doing any of the previous pieces this month, you'll be very familiar with me suggesting that you place from the thumb and allow finger 4 to reach out, and finger 2 will just fall and hopefully land more times than not on that fifth note up, which in this case is an A. And we keep that shape as we move through these patterns of notes: D, A, B, F, G, D, G, A. Okay, and we're going to do that, and that actually happens again on the last line, and then it finishes with a bass D as a final chord. So we'll just try that in the left hand. 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 and 2 and back up to the D and down to a D chord. Okay, well done. So then it's fitting up what's happening over the top. It's just moving through these structures. So we have F, A, D. Notice the fingering. Sylvia's brilliant at putting fingering in. That's really works. So we have this similar pattern moving down. B, octave. And I always like to think of this as sort of different voices. So you have the D chord, and then we have the low D, C, so that's one voice, and then a higher voice goes C, B, low voice, B, A, high voice, A, G, and then a really high one. So we sort of feel these moves. And then that E leading up to the F. And then these two. Now these two. Now these two. Now these up high. Now our middle. Bringing it into close. Leading through all the time. So I'm just going to play those final bars again, hands together this time. You can join in with as much of it as you wish and then go away and work on it. Here's our count. 3 and 4 and. Okay, have a bit of fun with those general sections. So we're looking at the first couple of lines of the piece and then the last couple of lines there today. All right, well done.